Wagwan man them, wagwan girl them. Welcome to the motherfucking best show in the UK. I am Lord Poddington, 1/3 of the Port Fellas. Today is just me because my niggas ain't here. I'm gonna explain in a bit. Anyways, delivering you all news and everything entertainment. We don't miss not one thing that's entertainment, music. We don't miss nothing. I'm telling you, man's yacked right now. Get me? Monday morning. Let's go. But remember, all is art and all art is man-made in the image of motherfucking God. With me, I don't have no one today with me. But I got J. Cole with me today, motherfucker. And that nigga got a fucking album out. That's 2 Flames. Kendrick, I said it before. Your move. Can't be hiding in LA no more. Best rapper at the moment is J. Cole. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of J. Cole haters out there. You know what? Let me finish the intro. And I am your host, Lord Poddington. The AKA, the motherfucking cultural controller. Sometimes some people call me the Buckeye Bandit. Your baby mother's side piece, the hit and rock connoisseur, recently crowned the Prince of Potshire. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I just got all these accolades. But my name is Sadiq Babalola. Right. As I was saying, best rapper in the game right now, J. Cole. Ain't nobody fucking with that nigga. That album from top to bottom is fucking hard. Only 10 songs. Let me double check that I got that right. No, sorry, excuse me. 12 songs. Every single one of them motherfuckers is hitting different. Different is what I said. Jesus. Ooh. She got me hyped. Anyways, shout out to all of the subscribers. Please subscribe. We need y'all. We actually need you guys to subscribe, like, share the videos, all of them things so that we can grow. And I promise you, if you do this, you might be able to win some merch. Coming soon. Don't worry about that. Anyways, let's get into the motherfucking meat and potatoes of this podcast. Apart from it being a J. Cole type of podcast, I just need to start straight away with the Joe Budden / Rory and Mal situation. I'm just going to start there because everybody knows if you listen to our podcast, the Pod Fellas Show, you may be aware, or maybe you're not aware, I don't know, nigga. You may be aware that the Joe Budden podcast is a very, very big influence to us. Like, we do a music podcast, they do a music podcast. We're very, very different, but we learn a lot of game from them. Or I learn a lot of game from them. And so does Legacy, even though you don't really be admitting that you learn a lot of game from Joe Budden. But I don't know. He with Rory and more. I don't know. I don't know about that. Anywho's, so for all of you listeners who do not know, who may not tune into the Joe Budden podcast, I doubt it because honestly, if you listen to us, there's a very, very high chance you listen to the Joe Budden podcast. So you've heard of them at least. You've definitely heard that there's some drama going on between Joe Budden and Rory. And unfortunately, Maul has also been wrapped up in this drama, naturally, right? So I'm going to play a few clips in a minute. But the long and short of it is this. Rory wasn't happy with what's going on business-wise behind the scenes. Or he wasn't happy because he wasn't aware of what's going on behind the scenes, right? So he asks Joe, let me see the accounting, let me see what's going on, who's spending what, blah, 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 right? And for 2 years, something like that, anyways. They were going back and forth with their lawyers, this, that, and the third, business shit, whatever, blah, 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 this, that, and whatever the fucking case may be. I'm not really explaining it properly, but I don't give a fuck. The long and short of it is this. Rory wasn't really happy. Joe told him, cool, I'm going to show you how much you make, and this is how much you lot make. Cool. Boom. Showed you. Rory still wasn't happy. Carried on going, and then that kind of translated into the podcast. And the podcast being a little bit terrible for those episodes, even though Rory puts that on Joe, even though you're the one who's instigating the fucking shit in the first place. And I can guarantee you, if Rory didn't feel the way that he did, Mo would be perfectly fine with what's going on. And that's my problem with Mo, personally. But anyways, we're gonna get to that. Let me not jump the gun. Anyways, this transpires, and then eventually Mo and Rory start transpiring behind Joe's back. Joe gets a little bit paranoid and lets him know, yo, you do not own this. I own this. And my nigga Joe, I feel you. I fucking feel you. I hate when niggas want to feel like, fam, I'm not really that bothered. I don't care. Like, I've heard both of them, both Maul and Rory, say, I don't care about building a network. I don't care about the podcast. I don't care about, like, it surviving. I just like chilling with my friends. But guess what, nigga? You get paid from the #1 podcast, music podcast in the world. My nigga, you get paid a lot of money from it. If the business wasn't right, you wouldn't be able to quit your day job to just sit and chat with your friends. So that #1 in itself is a blessing. Right? So don't tell me that you don't care about the motherfucking podcast or about the network, about all the work that Joe has put in to make sure that the shit is a success. You don't care because you're not the boss. So you don't understand what it takes. Fam, this shit gets me annoyed because I feel Joe. I understand all of the struggles, all the times that you have to be up all night thinking about how the fuck am I going to get this shit done? And I'm on a small scale. So thinking about on the big scale that nigga's on right now, I understand where he started from. I understand all of that struggles, all of that, like, borrowing from here, borrowing money from there. Like, fam, you have to do what you have to do as an entrepreneur. If you want to be successful and you know what you're doing, of course. Anyways, I just went on a big rant right there. But fuck Rory, #1. Fuck Rory. You're an ungrateful piece of shit. And I knew it. I fucking knew it. Your whiteness was going to catch up to you eventually. And this is exactly what it is. Your whiteness catching up to you. Because let's be real. This is a classic case of a white person feeling like, you know what? I deserve to own that. Even though it's not the intellectual property. Yeah, you worked on it, yeah, but like, fam, a restaurant owner can build a restaurant. The waiter, the chef, the fucking security guard, they all contribute to the business, making sure that the business runs perfectly. But guess what? They all don't own that business. The restaurant owner does. Do you know why? Because he invested his money and his time, and he still continues to invest his money and his time into the business. You don't do that, my nigga. Yes, you provide a talent, but guess what? That's all you are. Talent. Now, for all of you people that might come back with the argument, but ownership. Joe was preaching ownership. Creators should own everything. Yeah, Joe was preaching ownership, but he was also preaching you have to know that you're going to be working your ass off to own some shit. These niggas was not working their ass off to try to own anything. Both Rory and Mo, from everything that I've heard from both sides, and I'm coming here to say I've listened to the Joe Budden podcast, I've listened to the nasty one where he was going in on them, and then I've listened to the apology one where he was going in on them, still kind of, but apologetically, and I've listened to the I'll respond to this podcast later, whatever the fuck their shit name is. Like, come on, brothers, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, really? And that's what I take offense to what Rory's saying. If Rory is attempted to build another show in connection to the Joe Budden podcast, and then Joe was trying to own that show, guess what? I'll be on Rory's side, 1,000%. Rory, you deserve that. You came up with that. That's your intellectual property. You own that. You invested in that. You made sure that's successful. But guess what? You didn't do none of that with the Joe Budden podcast. You didn't invest in it. You didn't come up with it. It wasn't your idea. It wasn't your intellectual property. You just joined. I know you joined very, very early on, but it does not matter. I can take my nigga to the car dealership, right? Take my nigga down there, buy a car. My nigga's been with me early when I bought this car, but he don't mean that he owns half the car. Unfortunately, doesn't make any sense. So how comes in this scenario some people feel like, oh yeah, no, Rory and Moore should own? No, they shouldn't. Simple, plain as day. They shouldn't own any part of it. And a vital part that people seem to conveniently miss is that Joe Budden is the person who made the decisions that were needed to make sure the podcast is where it's at. So he knew what he was doing. If those decisions were to be left to Rory or Mal, the podcast wouldn't be where it is today. So how the fuck do they feel entitled to owning a piece of it? Anyways, I've had my own rant and I don't have anything else to say about it. So I'm gonna call up my nigga Legacy because he's on Rory and Mo's side. Hopefully he picks up this time because this nigga's been with the bad bitches, been fucking bitches all fucking weekend, and I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, nigga, please come home. Stop fucking these bitches, man. Right. Oh. Okay. You're gonna pick up, right? Because that's what you're gonna do. Pick up. No, you're not gonna pick up. God damn. I'm gonna try him again. Call back. Call straight right fucking back. You mad? It's not picking up my phone call, you know. I pay this nigga. And he's not gonna pick up. There you go. You better fucking pick up, bro. You sleep. Hello, Legacy. Welcome to the Podfellas show. You're live on air, so please do not snitch and tell the bad bee that you're laying right next to not move. Okay? This nigga's asleep. Do you know what time it is, my guy?
What you want?
I am here to have a conversation with you about the Joe Budden podcast. But seeing as you're asleep, we're going to carry on and have the conversation about the Joe Budden podcast.
Is the phone plugged in?
Yeah, the phone is plugged in. The phone is plugged in. That's why I warned you not to snitch on yourself because niggas can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
All right. So the listeners already know what's happened, right? Most people who are listening to this, let's not kid ourselves. They're already aware of what's going on. And I've let them know that you feel like Rory and Mo are in the right more than Joe Budden is.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct to say that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So do you want to explain to them why you feel that way?
Because the boys released, I'll name this response later.
Which was trash, by the way. But
it was. I don't know why you just take Joe's side on everything.
No, not on anything, fam. I already explained, but I'm gonna explain to you again why I feel like Joe's right in this situation. Even though at certain milestones, the way that he dealt with it was wrong. I wouldn't have dealt with it that way, but still doesn't negate the fact that he's right and they're wrong. But anyways, carry on.
But what are you wrong about?
No, you explain why you feel like they're right, and then I'm gonna explain to you why I feel like they're wrong.
Everybody was on Joe's side under the pretext of they are coming for ownership.
Mm-hmm.
But they've said clearly that they were not coming for ownership.
But they
That they
were
have a,
coming for ownership.
they know they have a contract.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
they have a contract
Mm-hmm.
based on percentage splits.
Okay. And I know that semantics is what's working on you new niggas, but that is Rory and Moore trying to trick their audience. Percentage splits is cool. I make a profit off of what we're doing. Here's your percentage. Go. That's it. When you start asking me to open my books, then we're now talking about a discussion
No,
of no
no,
trust. Yes,
no,
yes, because
no.
okay.
They said
Mm-hmm.
that Joe can have the IP, and that's where the ownership is. The
Yeah.
IP.
Yeah, of
So
course.
anything related to the Joe Budden network is his.
Yeah.
Anything to do with the Joe Budden podcast
Podcast
is
is
his.
his. Yeah, of course.
But they have a percentage splits on profits for anything to do with the podcast that they do, the
Okay.
podcast that they're on. That
Okay.
includes deals, that
Mm-hmm.
includes tips, and that includes any revenue that comes in that is based off anything associated with the Joe Budden podcast specifically.
Okay.
And Rory explained that the reason they decided to do this
Mm-hmm.
was so that when they did get any deals or any exclusive deals, there was already a pre-discussed percentage split on that deal.
And did Joe not agree to that percentage split deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's the problem?
So at one point Mo says it was weird
And
that
let's really quickly, I'm gonna let you talk, but let's highlight that. Number one, no one else in the position that Joe is would agree to a deal like that. But carry on.
okay, that's fine. If you're in a percentage split with someone,
Yeah.
they need to know what's being split in the percentage.
Okay. I agree.
So they,
Yeah.
so they're in every right to ask for the accounting.
Mm-hmm. Which they did, and he gave to them. No.
Okay, and they said that he did give it to them,
Mm-hmm.
but it came out with a mistake on it.
Okay. Of £400,000. I mean dollars. Sorry. Yeah. But that
And
doesn't say to me. Okay, carry on. I'm gonna let you finish.
they said that $400,000 mistake
Yeah.
was on it,
Mm-hmm.
and they spoke to Joe about it, and they said, okay, something's gone wrong somewhere, so let's hire a different accounting firm and run this back.
Okay, that's where
And
that's the number one
issue-
problem.
And that's what
They
the
don't.
issue is.
But when you're talking about, see, that's the thing. Maul and Rory use things to their that benefits their argument. You can't say to me that yeah, I understand the IP is yours and you own all of this, but then in the next sentence want to tell me the next move to do with what I own. It doesn't work like that.
They haven't said anything that's the next move to do with what you own.
No, but you're saying that they're saying, oh, let's hire a new firm or whatever. If Joe Budden doesn't want to do that, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to listen
Yes,
to you.
he does. Yes,
No,
he does.
why? If he owns
It's a
it,
$400,000 accounting mistake.
so what?
You don't miss $400,000.
Yes, you do. It's a business that makes millions of dollars. Yes, you do. 400,000. Okay, it's like, say for example, me and you own a JD Sports, right? And on a daily basis, say we make $5,000, right? But then we realized that in a quarter, there was about £400 missing out of the $5,000. We're gonna be upset that it's missing, but guess what? Because me and you both own it, we are gonna go do the research onto why is it missing. But the nigga who's working at the till, who's not the owner of the shop, if he comes to us to ask, oh yeah, that 400, what happened with that? If we don't want to tell him, we don't have to.
Stop. See, you keep putting them in the position of employees.
But they are.
They explain that they're not on salary, that they're on a percentage split of the profits of the the Joe Budden podcast.
And do you know what that is called? A percentage split. Do you know what it's called instead of a salary? It's semantics. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm here to explain it to you. It's called a wage, not a salary. It still doesn't mean you own shit. You can't say, oh, I don't own shit. I'm not on salary. Oh, but then that means that I have to make a decision. No, you are a worker. As long as you don't own it and you work on it, you are a worker. That's the bottom line. Go to any business. Any business. It doesn't matter how high you are or how important you are.
Even if they're workers, they're all right to audit. They're all right to ask for.
Of course, they are in their rights to audit. Yeah, and I'm not. And say again. Sorry.
They're in all their rights to ask for the correct accounting.
Okay, with the accounting situation, right? They ask for accounting. Yeah. And let me clear it up a little bit as well for those people who don't really understand business. Because I feel like that's why Joe Budden is being killed, because people don't really understand business. And when I say that, I don't mean business culture. I mean like the logistics of business. If you have a percentage-based income, that means you have a commission-based income, right? So it means whatever we make out of this, whatever profit we make out of this, you're getting 30%, you're getting 20%, 10%, whatever your percentage is, that's what you're getting, right? That doesn't mean that you own 10%, 20%, 30%, 40% of the business. That's number one that we need to get clear. Number two, that means by law, legally, the only thing that the owner needs to disclose to you is the profits that they've made in each quarter. And as long as they display to you, here's the profit, so you can work out the percentage of what you need to make, so you can see it against what we've actually given you and see if you're right or wrong, blah, blah, blah. That's all they're entitled to give you. That's all you're entitled to as, I'm going to say it again, a worker. That's all you're entitled to. It's a commission thing. But they keep using percentage base to try to make it seem like, oh, maybe they own a piece of it. That's why they make a percentage of the money that it makes, blah, blah, blah. No. If Joe Budden wanted to, or if he felt like it was good business for him at the time, he would have been like, cool, you niggas are on salary and that's it. But instead, it put you on a percentage-based income, which is amazing. You lot are laughing because that podcast is making an amazing amount of money. So what the fuck is your problem? I was and by the way...
Did you watch this?
Yes, I did. I watched the whole thing. And I didn't hear one thing apart from, oh, Joe's being egotistical. Of course he is. If that nigga's worked his whole fucking life to build this shit, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Because you're saying, you're saying that Joe put them on percentage split.
Yeah. And Go on, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, go on.
At one point, he said, we should probably draw up contracts.
Yeah, and that contract was the percentage-based income contract.
So how could you say Joe put them on percentage splits when Rory's the one that said we should go on percentage?
And he agreed to it, didn't he? Didn't he?
So Rory put them on percentage splits.
No, he didn't. See, that's what I'm saying. Okay, can I quickly explain? Can I quickly explain the nuance in what you've just said? The person who makes the final decision isn't Rory, it's Joe. That's why I'm saying Joe put them on that. Because I'm sure he realized at the time, all right, this pod isn't like the hottest thing, but we're getting there. So I don't want to fuck up business by being too greedy. So yeah, cool. Here you lot go. He makes that decision. Just because Rory suggested it doesn't mean Rory had the power to do it. No, Joe had the power to do it. And that's the difference between what you niggas are saying and what the real is. Do you get what I'm saying?
Not at all.
Rah. Okay, explain to me what part you don't understand.
At what point did Joe seem like he made the decision first? Is what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm not saying that he came up with the idea of percentage-based income for both of them first. Maybe because I'm screaming it, and I'm not mad at you, by the way, Legacy. Don't. I'm just mad at Rory and Mo, and honestly, I'm more mad at Mo because Mo was a dumb nigga, and I didn't think that he was this dumb. But anyways, I'm not saying that Joe Budden came up with that idea first, and I'm not saying that Rory was lying about coming up with the idea. Yeah, that could have worked, all well happened. But what I am saying is because Joe owns the business, Joe Budden Network or Joe Budden Podcast, whatever the name is, he owns it on the deed of the business. It's his name on there. Anything that goes wrong with the business, it all falls on him. It doesn't fall on any other two of them. He solely owns it. And for that reason, for anything to happen, he say so. This is just how business is. Like Joe didn't make this up. That's just how businesses are run. His say so has to be the one that lets it go ahead, not Rory's or Maul's. So Rory could have come up with the idea, all right, cool. If you don't want to give us a part of the business, cool. We need to earn a percentage-based income instead of just salaries. All right, cool. Instead of like a fixed salary. And also as well, percentage-based income is also salary. It's just a different type of salary. It's just commission-based. It's not fixed like a normal salary. So they're using all of these words because they know that it confuses people and people don't really know what it really and truly means. And that's why I'm more mad because you can't tweet, oh, the truth is quiet. And then you're using bare confusing shit that you know that the average listeners aren't going to really understand. But what I'm saying, let me really quickly explain. What I'm saying is that even if Rory did come up with the idea of giving them percentage based, it's still Joe's power to go, okay, cool, we're going to do that. So talk to his accountants or whatever and be like, okay, cool, do that. Rory can't go to the accountant and go, cool, do that. They're just going to look at him and laugh because that's not how it works. Does that make sense?
Could you repeat that, please?
Oh, wow. You're joking, right?
You said something about if Rory goes to the accountant.
I said if Rory can't just go to like the accountants or the people that deal with the books and go, oh, okay, cool, with this new deal or the lawyers and shit, we want to pen in for them or for us a percentage-based income. Joe Budden has to agree with that, is what I'm saying. Joe Budden is the one that has to go to his accountants and his lawyers and blah, blah, blah and put that in place. Not Rory or Mo because they don't own the business.
That's what they do. They didn't go to the accountants.
I'm not saying they did, but I'm trying to explain to you why I said that Joe is who made that happen. Not Rory or not Mo.
Okay, but what does that have to do with it? They're in every right to get the accountant either way.
But they did get the accountant.
And they asked Joe, let's get accountant, and it was incorrect.
The first accounting was incorrect.
That on the accountant, they refused to tell them how much they got from the Spotify deal, which is actually part of the profits.
Okay. I mean, while you're right in all of the things that you said, because I've also watched it and that's what they said. That's also what Joe Budden said. But guess what, though? We don't know the intricacy of what the 400 grand is missing from, of all the this and that and this and this and that. If I know for a fact that if there's a business that makes millions of dollars, as they've alluded to, losing 400 grand or not being accountable for 400 grand
is unacceptable.
It is unacceptable, but that's easily fixed.
Yeah, it is easily fixed. That's what Rory was saying.
But after it's fixed, but what I'm trying to say to you is after it's fixed now, I don't have to tell you where that 400,000 went. I don't have to. I don't. I don't. It's my business. It's not your business.
Where it went.
Oh, this nigga, you're not understanding. You're not. I literally made an example of the JD Sports earlier. Like, if you have you ever had a part-time job?
Yeah.
Where have you ever worked at?
At a Jamaica store.
Oh. They hired you in a Jamaica store. Rah. That's bad. What was it selling, like curry goat in there?
Fam, yes, of course.
Mad thing. All right, okay, it's cool. So did you know the owner of the restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. If there was something wrong you're working at the store, right? You have the same. You don't have the same position, yes, because obviously you're just a waiter, but you have the same rights legally as Rory and Mo with the Joe Budden podcast as you did with that Jamaican store, right? So if something was to go on with the accountant, yeah,
Yeah.
and say for example you were on a commission based, percentage based income, which will probably never happen, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't go up to your boss and be like, I want to see the accountant. Number one, legally he doesn't have to show it to you, yeah. So he's just
That
gonna
doesn't
tell you.
make sense.
No, I'm telling you.
If I'm on percentage
But
base,
I'm just
I
telling
have
you.
to.
I'm just telling you like facts. This is how it is in business, in life. Legally, he doesn't have to show it to you if he doesn't want to. He only shows it to you when he feels like showing it to you, and that's up to him. And that's a luxury that
No,
all
that's
business owner
correct.
has. The only person that business
That's
owners have
incorrect.
to show their books to is the government. That's it.
Correct.
Pardon?
That's incorrect. You can't even use that as an example
That's not incorrect.
because
How-
in car sales, you're on commission. You get commission
Where do you
different-
get commission?
in different forms of sales. You get commissions, but
Okay.
you can see what you sold. You can see what you sold. You know how much you sold,
Yeah.
and you know what percentage of that sale you get.
Yeah, I know, but also,
So when you apply
Rory,
there,
Rory and Mo could see the
somebody's
profits.
if somebody else
Yeah,
is in charge of watching the profit come in,
yeah,
it's their job to have the accounting in order to then show you because you have to see it.
and they did see it. I'm confused,
And it was incorrect.
but okay.
You missed $400,000. The
Mhm.
podcast is not that big of a business.
Yes, it is.
It's not that the amount of money a business brings in doesn't equate to its size.
You're right, but in terms of the deals that Joe Budden is doing with other companies, it is that big of a business. And you might be right in terms of the size, as in like the amount of staff, blah, 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 blah. But I'm pretty sure them niggas are getting worked hard. Savon and them man don't sleep. They do not. I can guarantee you that. Even Joe himself look like he don't sleep. So that's what I'm saying. And to quickly go back to that point that you just made, yeah, while you're working in the Jamaican store, you can see how much you've made. But also with Rory and Moore, this nigga cut off. But let me really quickly call him back. This nigga gonna hang up the motherfucking phone on me, nigga. How dare you? Better pick up the motherfucking phone. Fucking guy gave me hot and shit. Like, nigga, I give him so many examples, trying to give these niggas some game, and this, like, you new niggas is different, man. Y'all don't even want to learn. Y'all don't even want to learn shit. Not from even cool old niggas like me. God damn, this nigga gonna do this to me? You gonna do this to me?
Your call. My bad, pimp. I ain't mean to miss your call. I was just doing some other real G shit. I'm gonna get back to you as soon as possible. Shit, maybe not if I don't fuck with your ugly ass, but you know, I'm gonna hit you.
So that was Legacy's voicemail. I am not going to be leaving anything on that, so I'm gonna click off that. Right. Anyways, well, we had him for a little bit. Hopefully, maybe his phone just died or something. He's going to charge that bad B real quick, and then we're going to get back to the conversation. But I'm going to move on because I've spent a lot of fucking time on this. I just really needed him to understand that these niggas are just talking out their arse. They're not saying anything that's factually based. If you and if anything, this situation makes me understand that Rory and Mo don't even understand business. And Rory used to work in Sony. Fam, ain't no corporation more bloodthirsty than them niggas. And Universal and fucking Warner. Like, come on. Come on now. Come on. You know Wild One now. Come on now. Don't do that. That's fucking disgusting, Rory. Keep your whiteness in. You don't have to own everything. Joe Budden owns the podcast. He's going to replace you two niggas. You've ruined something that was amazing. So, yeah, cool. Go off and make your own podcast. I wish you well, but I'm not going to be listening because honestly, what worked was you three. And guess what? Another podcast is going to be created where it's going to work with Joe Budden, Ish, and Ice. So, there you go. And who's moving right along, though? Recently, y'all niggas don't even want to know. The Bad B. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start like this. Instead of starting it like that, I'm going to start it like this. The queen of rap, of hip-hop. Sometimes pop as well, but I don't really like when she does pop. But I'm only talking about one queen. The queen of the barbs. First name, Nicki. Last name, Minaj. She released a project, man. And I know y'all niggas heard of it. So before she released the project, or just before, on the day, whatever it was, I think it was Friday, last Friday, she released the project. And of course, beforehand, she spoke to Drake and she was like, I'm gonna need you on this. You're my bro who I offended before, but now I'm totally at your mercy. And please do this for me. Get on IG Live and let's promote this. And Drake was like, baby girl, I'm gonna need you to make my head swell. Just say I'm the greatest nigga alive. Fuck Safari. You gonna put your mouth around my dick whenever the fuck I ask you to. I'm gonna lay you down, tie you up. You know what I mean? Say all of that shit, and babe, you got me on the IG Live. So, Drake, you're nasty motherfucker for this.
Shit. I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to say it too much. He single-handedly got me out of my writer's block, and I'm never gonna forget it. And I'm gonna shout it to the fucking world on the mountaintops because that's the real shit. That's my hand to God. He sent me something, and it made me feel so competitive again. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like,
of course, y'all should see Drake smile right now.
And
Facts.
Of course, niggas cooling back.
Rap, it's always gonna inspire something in me. But outside of
what you say, nigga? We're gonna carry on to the conversation, but first, I'm playing the Drake, Nicki Minaj IG Live, and Drake,
as a
this nigga,
artist, but also just as a human, like
this nigga. Honestly, tell me Drake ain't say to Nicki Minaj, yo, if I'm ever gonna even try to advertise your album or your single or nothing like that, you have to say I'm the greatest nigga ever. You suck my dick anytime I call. I call you in the middle of the night, you be right here in 5 seconds, bitch. And of course, say again?
I haven't even seen it yet.
You haven't seen it? Oh, right, you need to see that. I'm gonna send it to you right now, actually. I'm gonna send that to you right now. But yeah, for real, Drake he's a dangerous man. Let's just put it that way. He's a very dangerous man. But okay, do you want to carry on the conversation, or do you want to talk about Drake being disgusting and dangerous?
Where was I? I was saying that the JBN isn't that big. Like,
yeah,
it's money. Money's coming in.
Yeah.
Hair and hair and hair.
Yes,
that's how
of course.
Multi-millions. And it's going out hair and hair and hair.
Okay.
400,000 unaccountable for.
Yeah.
If I buy a drink.
And also, I feel like you just kind of minimized the business that Joe Budden does. There's quite a lot of intricacy in just one business, and he has loads of different ventures. He has the pop-up. He's had the pop-up. He has the podcast with them.
Yeah.
And then he has shit that he does with Revolt. That's still under Joe Budden. He has his YouTube business.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then recently he's added other people's podcasts into his Joe Budden network. There's a lot within that one business. So it's not just small, like you just said.
It is small.
No, it's not. Come on.
Anything else that's Joe Budden.
Say again?
Is the Joe Budden podcast not anything else Joe Budden?
Is the Joe Budden podcast not anything else Joe Budden?
That
Oh, you're saying it's just one business Joe Budden podcast, not the rest of them.
yeah.
Okay, I feel that. All right, cool, carry on.
It's the product from the Joe Budden podcast that matters. Nothing else. Like they understand Joe where they said like the IP is yours. But this is what we want.
Yeah.
And saying this so that when we do go into situations where we're getting a lot of money for this product,
yeah,
that's it. It's a simple, what was the percentage we pre-agreed on? And they've even said that the percentage we took, we came to that calculated based on knowing on the fact that you're going to have a higher percentage than what we split between ourselves, simply because of how you have to cover because the IP is yours. Costs, advertising, everything.
And marketing, everything.
Coverage. We've said that. Fam, we don't even know. Fam, Joe might have a 70%, and there's 15.
Yeah, and he deserved that 70%.
Yeah, and they've said that. They said, you deserve a high percentage, no doubt, no question.
Okay, so what's their beef then? I still keep asking what their beef is, and I still don't know what their beef is.
We've been through this road, and you're questioning me based on the accounting. But they're saying that there's $400,000 unaccounted for.
Okay, but as I said earlier, I can go fix that and decide not to ever tell you where that went.
No, because I have the right to the correct accounting.
No. Incorrect. Do you know what you have the right to? To the new number, to the new profit. Wait, listen. This is the only thing they have the right to the new profit number. To the new gross profit or net profit, you have the right to that number. Cool. Here's the profit. Go work out what your split is. That's all you have the right to. You don't have the right to be like, so where did that 400? No, you don't have the right to none of that. And that's the difference. No, you don't. Okay, legacy. Let me differentiate. You feel like you do because they're friends. I'm saying they don't because that's how business is. Like legally, you just don't have the right to that. If I decide I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. That's just what it is. So I don't think Joe is in the wrong. Joe isn't fucking anyone. He's paying them more than anyone else would have paid them. So the fuck are they talking about?
He's not paying them more than anyone else would have paid them.
Okay.
Percentage that they should be getting.
Fam, they get paid more than NBC reporters.
Get the percentage that they should be getting.
I know. But let's go back to the fact that they admit themselves that they're not owners of the podcast, which means that you are an employee on the podcast. You can't be evil. You can't be both. You can't be an employee and an owner. It's either one. Do you get what I'm saying? And since you're the employee, now let's compare you to some of the other people who have the same roles in much bigger companies than the Joe Budden network. They're paid less than you. What the fuck is your problem?
Do they have a percentage split?
No, they don't, and that's what I'm saying. Joe Budden has gone above and beyond of what. Because I know, and that's probably. I know, but what I'm saying to you is Joe Budden has already done above and beyond, and now they're asking him for more, and now he's feeling like the fuck you're even. No, but listen, legacy. You ain't even grateful for the first above and beyond that I did. Now you want more? What the fuck? I'll feel some type of way as well. Like, the common standard is that you're getting paid probably, I don't know how much they're getting paid, but probably twice the amount of money that a next corporation that's making more profit than we are paying the same person in the same role that you're in. You should be appreciative of that. You shouldn't be trying to hot me up and trying to insinuate that I'm not being honest with you with the type of money that I'm showing you. I've been upfront with you from the beginning that I own this, you don't. Say, for example, Joe Budden told them from the beginning that we all own this, and then now he's talking a different tune. I understand. I'll be on their side. Does that make sense? But he's been honest with them the whole way. So what the fuck is their problem?
For the 400,000 mistake.
Oh, that's the thing. Semantics or the 400,000. We're gonna hand on to that.
That's not semantics.
It is semantics.
It's trying to tax Apple, and there's 1 billion missing.
I know, but Mo and Rory are not the IRS. They're employees of the company.
It's saying we're taxing you 40%. Show us your books.
Yes, but that's the IRS.
There's no room for mistake there.
I know, but that's not the same. See, you keep bringing up stupid examples. That's not even comparable. That's like saying if the employee of a company wants to tax the company and then says, show me your books, the employee of the company doesn't have the power to do that, is what I'm trying to say.
They promised the contract even say that they're allowed to ask for accounting.
No, it didn't. Well, yeah, they are allowed to ask for the profits. It's probably what the contract said. So that you can work out how much you should be getting paid. That's probably what the contract said. The contract, I can guarantee you, the contract does not say you're allowed to ask me to open up my books. Because most businesses don't like doing that. Because guess what that means? That means you get to see their future plans. You get to see all types of shit that they don't want you to see. And that shit only works because people don't know about it. It's just that simple.
Okay.
But the government does ask for that, is what I'm saying. But of course, that's the government. Martin and Rory are not the government.
Okay, we disagree on this.
Yeah, we just agree to disagree. And that, I wish you were on this episode. Hopefully next week we can have a proper, more concise and more articulate conversation about it. maybe next week. But have you seen your boy Dino's new track?
Hold on. There's also things that people
Oh yeah, we haven't even finished this.
Might not have been based on money.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a woman, isn't it?
No, but
academics.
It is to be taken into account.
Yeah, and what's that exactly?
Joe has been painting a picture of Rory that I believe is unfair.
Oh, that's not how. Okay, how?
You're talking about semantics.
But how? How do you think it's unfair?
Man, you're talking about being a day one.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how do you feel like that's unfair?
Because Rory has come and said, and these two did this very well, and they came out and they were very fair to Joe. And the only point they had,
but carry on.
Everything would be fine if we could just run back this accounting. That's what it could boil down to. But there was other things that led up to it.
Of course.
Where Rory, and obviously most of the issues they had was with what Joe was saying. And something that Joe clearly didn't say to them, but on the air he was fine to say.
Okay.
Joe said that Rory wasn't day one because he wasn't there literally day one. But Joe called Rory and talked about it. And Rory was organizing. Like I said, if you have an interest in what you're doing, you're going to do things that show that you do.
Yeah, of course.
Rory was making sure they had studios. Rory was booking the engineer. Rory was making sure that everything was okay. And he wasn't even a recurring member. Help out Joe. And at 6, Joe called him and said, okay, I think we should keep this going. But when Joe said the story, it's like Rory had no contribution at all at that point.
Well,
but that simply wasn't true.
Yeah, you're right. Like, you're right on that point that you just made. But let me just quickly respond to that. That still doesn't mean that he's entitled to anything else.
And also, Rory had a conversation with someone from Tidal.
Yeah.
Talking,
I heard about that too.
I might have a bag for you. And Rory said, okay. And they were discussing it. It was just a friendly conversation.
Yeah.
And then he goes, okay, let me talk it with the guys. And he does.
And then Joe goes bad.
And Joe was mad.
Yeah, I will be too.
Mad or not.
I
Cool.
will be too. Do you know why? Let me quickly tell you why I will be mad. Don't be talking about my business without me present. What Rory should have done is before going to that meeting.
No, he didn't
Call-
go to a meeting. He was hanging out with his friend.
Yeah, yes, I know.
I might have bags for you guys.
Yes, I understand. And
Rory
Rory
said,
felt like it could be
hold
the connection
on.
there.
Rory didn't feel like anything.
Yeah.
Because Rory was just there with his guy.
Okay.
And his idol, and he said, "Oh, I might have a bag for you."
And by the way, I watched this. He did say that they booked a meeting and he went to the meeting and took it back to the guys. That's what he said. He didn't say that he was just chilling. Like, he was just chilling and then he bumped into him, and then they set up a meeting. And then he went to the meeting, went to talk to Elliot Wilson, right, about the Joe Budden podcast, and then took it back to Joe. What that says to me is, from the beginning, Rory has been trying to play a power move. He's been trying to see, how can I gain more power in this network? And Joe's been making sure that he keeps 100% of his share. I'm not mad at that. If he has the capability of doing that, yes, do that. The fuck? And the reason why I will be mad is, why you take the meeting without telling me you're taking a meeting, number one. Number two, without me present at the meeting. And number three, this clearly, I know maybe you don't really understand because you're a bit younger, but trust me, once you get into the corporate world, that's so clear as day that that's a power move. You're trying to gain more power in this so that once that deal falls through, you can be like, okay, cool, I brought this in, I need 5%. Like, I don't want to comment on the morality there, because maybe in certain cases I will do that. I necessarily wouldn't call the person, but I would know that they might feel a certain type of way about that.
In my opinion, you can feel a certain type of way.
Yeah.
If you want.
Yeah, and he did.
I'm pretty sure that from context and what Rory was saying, that he was talking to Elliot Wilson. It's not like he was talking to some random guy from Saudi.
Yeah, of course, but it still doesn't negate the fact that you are not the owner of the business. Get the owner of the business,
Elliot
get
Wilson.
their number.
Rory knows Elliot Wilson personally.
Yeah, and that's fine. And that's fine. But if Elliot Wilson wants to do business with the Joe Budden podcast, guess who he needs to speak to? Joe Budden. Exactly. Not Rory.
But he knows Rory, and Rory said, "Oh, I need the number to go and tell the guys."
Yeah.
Rory knows he can't accept or decline. Rory knows that at a certain number is ridiculous anyway.
I know, but why aren't you asking the question of Rory not telling Joe, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna go meet Elliot. He's gonna give me a number for this podcast." Why go and then come tell me? No. Say again?
It could have happened in 10 minutes.
No, but that's what I'm saying to you. He made it clear that that wasn't the case. They set up a meeting. That means that happened on a different day.
Okay, that's cool.
And that's the problem. Like,
so Rory tells Joe.
And
Joe does whatever he does.
Yeah.
But then he comes on the platform and says, I got us a meeting with Tidal.
He did? Yep.
Correct.
How do you know that that's incorrect? I'm asking a question. Because
I didn't hear.
I said, how do you know that that's incorrect?
Because Rory's just explained that he's the one that had the conversation with Elliot.
Yeah. But how do we know that Joe Budden didn't get them a different meeting with Tidal? They spoke to loads of different companies. They spoke to Apple, Spotify, Tidal. There was some other company that was like mad unknown that he mentioned that they spoke to. Spoke to mad companies. How do you not? How are you sure that it wasn't a different connection, a different person that made that happen, and it was a completely different meeting? Because obviously Rory went back to Joe Budden. Joe Budden got mad. I'm sure Joe Budden didn't go, okay, cool, I'm gonna speak to Elliot after he got mad. He was like, no, fuck that. Obviously, down the line, I can see a situation where Joe Budden listened to some offers from Tidal.
That's cool. Next time something like this happens, I'm gonna write down what they said because
I mean, I'm not. It's not even that. But I'm just trying to like. Okay, do you know what the thing is? The thing is with what Joe Budden's first initial response, where he fired Rory on air and all of that, that was mad messy. If it was me personally, I wouldn't have done it like that. Just because I know how it comes off as. But I can understand when a nigga is mad and niggas just feeling like niggas won't appreciate him, especially if they're trying to call him his friend. I can understand being that mad and saying all types of wild shit that you don't necessarily like believe in, or maybe you do. I don't know. I don't know Joe Budden. Innit? But what I'm saying is, when all is said and done, Rory and Mo are bugging wildly. Yeah, mistakes was made on either side, I'll admit that 100%. But when you look at the whole grand scheme of things, nah, that nigga done a lot for you niggas. Like he appreciated what you niggas put into the podcast. That's why he agreed to give you a percentage of however much this shit is making, instead of just giving you a fixed salary, which ended up being way more than all niggas in the same industry that you lot are getting. And then you're gonna I'm sorry, I'm just not listening to that. And it's not even just because I understand what it's like being an entrepreneur and how hard it is. It's never just that. It's just about being right. And it also kind of pisses me off with Mal, not Rory, with Mal. When he keeps saying, "Oh yeah, nah, you know what the truth is. You know I keep it real and all of this shit." No, you don't. Because on one hand, you go, "Oh, I don't care about the podcast. I don't care about a contract." But the whole reason that this is happening is because of the fucking accounting and the business and the contract. And that, like, you're contradicting yourself. You can't say that in one breath and then go, and then your actions are showing that you care. And then also as well, you lot can't say, "Oh, we want to do everything to make sure this succeeds," and then do actions to make sure that the podcast doesn't succeed by just upping and leaving.
stop. Because they said that they all had a conversation.
Yeah, and it was Joe's idea. That's bullshit, man.
Okay, why
Of course they said that.
But it's acceptable.
It's bullshit because on the podcast when they came back, the podcast before the one where they didn't turn up and Joe Budden went crazy, when they were supposed to explain their side of the story, number one, they didn't say all of this. This is all new information. Joe Budden literally gave them the whole podcast to say all that they needed to say. They danced around there. Oh, it's just some things that guys, egos got in the way. They didn't say it because they knew how it sounded. They knew how greedy they were going to sound to people, right? Cool. I don't know what they should have said or what shouldn't have said. So I'm not going to assume that they would have sounded greedy. But now you come up with new information when the nigga who owns the platform could have just locked you out and decided that he's not going to let you a gateway to his audience to say all of this shit, right? He gives you that gateway. You dance around and you say all of this. Do you know what that tells me? That tells me that you know that some of the things that you're doing is wrong, but you want to sound and seem as good and holy as possible. And as soon as that gets into play, I don't trust your reactions. I don't trust what you're saying. And I'm picking out all the contradictions in you. And I also pick out all the contradictions in Joe. But guess what? After picking out all the contradictions in Joe, at the end of the day, his decisions are right. Sorry. Just that simple.
All right.
Anyways, sorry that I had to have the rant at you. I wish that Mo and Rory was right in front of me so I can fucking do that. But shout out to Joe Budden. Keep going, fam. Ish and Ice, they're just as good, if not better. It'll be a very, very different type of podcast, but I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air. I truly believe that. And honestly as well, okay, this is one last thing I'm going to say about this before we move on. Yeah. Can you hear me, Legacy?
Yeah.
Is that I feel like this is Rory's whiteness jumping out. I feel that way. I feel like it feels like, oh, Joe's so generous. You know what? Let me push it a little bit more. And then he he got Maul on board, and that was another power move. And then they tried to miss the podcast to force Joe's hand into doing whatever he wanted. But unfortunately for him, Joe is a very stubborn person. So he was like, you know what, I can see what... And me looking from Joe's perspective, if someone tried to do that to me, I would react the same way. And I would be like, I can see what you're trying to do. You're not going to get what you want. Fuck you. Simple. Sorry. Anyways, we can move right along now. Have you heard the new Joe Cole album? It's the Joe Cole type of podcast today. I already said that at the beginning, and we ain't